I said good day, sir!
Okay. Hello Dota people, thank you all very much for tuning in. This is Epi with Durka one more time. We're bringing you guys coverage of the defense. The defense! Damn it. Durka, will you be able to forgive me that? I don't even know. It's been like imprinted into my brain, a defense. But it's actually pronounced a defense, guys. Toby, if you're listening in, apparently it's pronounced the defense, and I will go with that. In fear of Durka's wrath. In the defense, which is now which is sponsored as always by Razer as well as BenQ, and hosted by joindota, we will have CLG going up against the Copenhagen Wolves, formerly known as the Tough Bananas, team consisting of Kerklos, Balsam, S4, Henry Dickinson, as well as the Nino. They've been performing amazingly in the past tournaments they've been attending. And, well, now the Copenhagen Wolves picked them up after they lost their roster, which disbanded, former Quantic. And, well, I don't even know what else to say. CLG has been performing very well recently, too. They just returned from DreamHack, where they didn't do all too great. Actually, were they kicked out the semifinals? Do you know? I only managed to actually tune into the grand finals of MTW against Na'Vi, where MTW just played phenomenally.
Sorry, which team are you talking about?
CLG on DreamHack, where they...
I don't recall. I remember TTB went, was it 1-3? And Cater Gaming went... Oh no, so TTB went 1-2 and Cater Gaming went 0-3. But I don't recall CLG's results. And I'm not sure why they can't use fear.
Yeah, by the way guys, I'm just gonna put you guys into this lobby as well. I don't have a second monitor just yet, so you will, I'll just show you right now. If I click here, then you will see like the endless vortex of crap that is my monitor inside a monitor, because I don't have a second one to use for the broadcasting itself. So here you go. We are currently here in the gaming lobby. CLG, one last guy from CLG is missing, and that is actually, who's missing from CLG at the moment? Pycat, Aki, Miracle, Misery, and the last one missing would... Misery just filled in for Loda, 1CU left for Zenith, and who else is on CLG?
Lacoste, they're missing Lacoste.
Lacoste, exactly. He was also a newer guy on CLG, no clue where he is at. Well, some people just being... Oh man, people! I hope I hope my resolution is good enough for you guys to join in on that chat conversation going on between CLG as well as the Copenhagen Wolves. Very glad to hear that the Tough Bananas got picked up by a sponsor now. But yeah, Lacoste still missing from CLG side before we get started in this game, and I hope he will come soon because I want to get this game underway. We just actually finished casting. Sorry guys, we just finished casting M5 going up against Complexity, so the Russians up against America. And Complexity actually worked their way out of the slump that they've been recently in and beat M5 in a very, very good game. It was relatively close for the earlier stages, and then it just came down to the big team fights. The VOD will be available on my own 3D TV channel, as well as it will be uploaded on my YouTube by the end of the night. And actually it appears that CLG will pick up Pusher Street for this game. So here we go, loading ourselves into this game. Lacoste will not be playing with his CLG squad. He appears to be unable to play now, so they pick a stand-in in Pusher Street. Former support player for old MYM back in the... Oh my goodness, look at that! Do you see what I'm seeing? Maria, look at this here. Man, we have flags in the middle lane with sponsors of the Wolves. Let me put up this draft screen actually. Bam, there we go. Holy crap, look at this here. Copenhagen Wolves, Steel Series, something something, something something, Yellow.
What? Where are you looking?
Middle lane, man. High ground. Middle lane, high ground. Dire side. Left and right to the high ground.
Where? High ground of...
Middle lane. Just outside the river. Dire side. Right for...
Maybe that only broadcasters can see it, because I don't see Jack.
Okay. Ha 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 ha. Well, check out this. Check out the stream. First ban goes to the Copenhagen Wolves. Characters will do the drafting there. Balsam S4, Henry D as well as the Nino have basically proven themselves to be able to wrestle with the top guys of the Dota 2 scene. It's been just really amazing watching these guys perform. Recently, I was like, man, Tough Bananas, good squad, could beat me any day, but I'm not sure if they can take on the big teams, and they beat them all basically. Yeah, here we go. We're in our draft, first ban phase, so 3 bans each before the first pick can be done here by the Western Wolves on the Dire side. So they actually get both good pieces of the cake, man. They get first pick and they get the Dire side.
2-minute delay? Did you remember the 2-minute delay?
I remembered, man.
Good. Just checking.
Yeah, I'm also very afraid of Holy Master's Wrath, so I actually did do that really quickly. Enchantress, Lycan banned out. Please don't ban Chaos Knight. Please do not ban Chaos Knight.
Yeah, you forgot the 2-minute delay and then he holy faced.
The way you worded that sentence is like, you forgot the 2-minute delay, made my heart stop. But I think I got it actually. I might double check that here pretty soon. But the thing with streaming is, and one monitor, is that the whole world, basically consisting now at the moment of 5 viewers, thank you.
Yeah, I'm checking your stream currently, 2-minute delay, and I see the banners. Shiny.
Yeah, isn't that cool? So, Chancellors and Chancellors get banned now, 2 strong junglers, Leshrac now also taken out, and still no Chaos Knight ban. Pycat, man, please forget about Chaos Knight and take out Prophet or Invoker. Prophet, Invoker, Brewmaster.
Yeah.
Chaos Knight, all still in there. So perhaps even the first pick might not be the... Broodmother gets taken out. Chaos Knight, pick him! He will get picked. We'll see a Chaos Knight in the game.
Come on. No, seriously, please pick Chaos Knight. You can't just forget about him now.
Keikos are like, not sure if trolling or they just forgot. And he goes for Nature's Prophet. So...
Hey!
Pycat's like, alrighty then, I guess I'll pick Chaos Knight. Fine. Second pick, Windrunner, Brewmaster. Oh, Enigma, of course. Also pick that guy up. So here we go. Big Black Hole, 4 big illusions in the late game at level 3 ultimate for Chaos Knight equals a tremendous amount of damage. And now we'll have second and third pick coming out of the Copenhagen Wolves. We'll see what they go for. As I said, we have Brewmaster, Windrunner still in the pool. Invoker, of course, also still in there. Although I'm not sure if the Copenhagen Wolves have a adept Invoker player in their lineup. Actually, I saw a thread on joindota recently where they were criticizing Dendy's Exort Quaz Invoker. Would you also jump on the bandwagon of Flame there, or not?
I wouldn't... See, it's one of those things where it's hard to make these calls because you have to start building your Invoker from very early on. The Sunstrike obviously is so adept at picking up experience and gold on off lanes while you're at mid farming or keeping the mid lane hero down. But I don't know, knowing that MTW love to play that pushing lineup, I'm not sure if it was the right call, but you know, it's a team decision. It's Puppy and Dendy who are making these calls together, as well as the other members of their team deciding what to go. It's not just Dendy suddenly magically deciding to go Quas Exort.
Well, he's been doing that for a while, certainly, man. And second and third pick for the Copenhagen Wolves will be Windrunner as well as Shadow Demon. We will see Henry D playing Shadow Demon. I love watching that guy playing that hero. His disruptions are just on point. Right hero, right time, right situation, right result. And the third pick for CLG here will be Ancient Apparition. So, interesting pick, especially considering the fast timing. Like, basically, Windrunner and Shadow Demon were picked up, and immediately after, Pycat picks up Ancient Apparition. So apparently they have something planned. Maybe hold them in place with a relatively long duration stun, 2 to 4 seconds from Chaos Knight at level 4, Black Hole, and then throw an ulti in there. Because usually Ancient Apparition is used for a direct counter to Chen and all those healing heroes. So is there any other reason that comes to mind, in your mind, Durka, for this AA pick?
They're gonna line him up with that Chaos Knight, hope for some long duration stuns, line it up with that Cold Feet, and get some sure kills on most likely the Windrunner who they're going to be laning against.
Ah, good point, man. That is a very nice synergy with Ancient Apparition. And Ultimate, of course, is a really nice tool to have in team fights, especially when it comes down to the mid-game team fights where you need a mech or pipe, where that will make the difference in the team fight. Where if you don't have the mech and you don't have the pipe, you will certainly lose, even if you have the upper hand, because it will be that 250 HP bonus and that 300 or 400 damage reduction or buffer for magic damage that the pipe provides, that will basically turn the tides of the game. And Ancient Apparition, with that ultimate debuff, will simply prevent any type of healing coming out. So we're actually through. I babbled on long enough. So the second band fight is all the way through. Invoker is out, Queen of Pain is out, so is Brewmaster as well as Sand King. So now the fourth pick goes to Calculus, and he picks up a Morphling. And I think the Radiant will still need a strong mid-solo hero, unless they do AA Chaos Knight mid, and a long lane, because I couldn't imagine them sending Enigma top.
I would like to see them pick up a Storm here. And Storm is so great at playing against Furion, jumping over the trees, destroying Sprout, obviously. You can get away from Windrunner quite effectively, get away from that Purge on the Shadow Demon. And he's great at bringing down Morphling. If he's got a couple of teammates around, he jumps on Morphling, deals damage, and then holds him with that Vortex. And couple that with the AA, Enigma stun, and CK stun, I reckon that would be quite a nice pickup.
Absolutely. And here we go, Beastmaster. They do go for the safe, reliable, strong BKB piercing stun, basically. But as we saw last game, actually, that Lincoln Sphere on a Morphling that M5 Silent picked up was actually a very nice deterrent of that. But we'll see how they fare with this. Beastmaster might be, again, there we go with that long lane solo. Beastmaster has actually, back in the Dota 1 days, has been a solo mid pick because of his high base armor as well as his high HP pool in the early game. And a good base damage, as well as the rune control that would be the result of his Boar and Hawk. He was actually a relatively frequent pick for the solo mid role. But now in Dota 2, he's almost exclusively picked up for the long lane, simply because of the fact that the axes can cut down those trees on the long lane so that you can be early informed of any incoming ganks. And you can also use Boar or axes to stack up those ancient creeps to like 4 or 5 times, and then have like 1k gold as well as 1 to 2 levels of EXP picked up once you have some mana regen in the form of maybe a medallion in combination with a bottle. But we'll see how CLG will go about this.
Tinker, oh, very nice. I mean, you pointed out that Beastmaster's a very good solo mid hero, but I'd go as far to say he's the perfect solo mid hero, because his axes can lane control, he can control his creep wave, he can push when he needs to get that bottle, when he needs to get the rune for his bottle, which he'll most likely get. He's got the hook to scout out the rune. He's got the obviously high HP and high armor, like you said. But also, if you put him solo mid, the quick level 6 he can get, just for that raw, he can take down almost any solo mid hero he's up against, which was the most common laning in those days, was to put solo mid against solo mid. And with his Boar, he can harass. So every aspect of him fits that solo mid role. But Tinker here being picked up, very nice indeed.
It is just kind of nostalgic, man, to see that we're growing into phases of Dota 2 where you can actually look at it like from a top-down perspective and be like, man, the game has evolved so much. Back in the day, man, you would solo mid a Beastmaster, and now it would be like Lich with an anti-mage in the mid, where you just have this lane controlling hero enabling the farm of your hard carry. You would almost never see this back in the Dota 1 days, and now it's seeing a dual lane mid is basically just normal. I'm just looking at the Copenhagen Wolves here on the Dire squad, and Valve did a very good thing in making it possible to have the banners as well as the sponsor's name here. It gives a lot of exposure to the teams. It looks beautiful. We have the flags here, we have the logo here as well. It looks very, very interesting. While we're still paused, it appears to be a tactical pause where people go over lanes and strategies. I'll go over the Copenhagen Wolves. Of course, we'll have Henry D on that Shadow Demon. I'm very pumped to see this. Nino will be playing Earthshaker, Balsam on Morphling, S4 on Windrunner, and Calculus on that Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, and over on the Radiant side, CLG, we have Pusher Street standing in here for Lacoste on that Enigma, Misery sitting on that Tinker, Pycat on that Chaos Knight, Miracle on that Beastmaster, looking to go solo top most likely, and Aki on the Ancient Apparition.
Yeah. So, as you were pointing out, they will put most definitely Ancient Apparition on a lane with Chaos Knight. Just very, very powerful combination. Now that you mentioned it, it makes a lot of sense. Beastmaster solo top. I'll just show you guys quickly on my screen here. Oh man, on the top lane there's also flags. And on the bottom lane as well. Holy crap, this is really wicked. Really nice smiley face drawn by Pusher Street. At any rate, these trees right here, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, will be mown down by Beastmaster. And we'll see if he'll actually make his way up to the top. Of course, now that I mention it, he doesn't do it. But in the last game he did, M5 against Complexity. Because then you have unobstructed vision of this whole area here, right there.
And back to your point about saying how we can sort of watch Dota evolve. You know, I've been playing for, I can't even count how many years, 8 or more. And I remember like 5 years ago when we used to play, I'll say clan wars, semi-competitive, having fun in little tournaments. You know, you pick heroes like Luna, Enigma, Treant, Sniper. You just want to pick heroes that are fun and you can play, basically. There was no thoughts into heavy strategy or laning or, you know, creep control or lane control or rune control or any heavy jungling. It was just play the game, kill heroes, don't give a crap about anything else.
Dude, there was a YouTube video you remind me of now that was posted like 5 years ago. And I remember I saw that and I was like, holy shit man, this is revolutionary stuff. And it's about a Void on the top lane in Dota 1 being like every few seconds the video would pause and there would be like a big text on the screen. It's like, okay guys, if you don't auto attack the creep wave, now it wasn't even called auto attacking, it's just like don't attack the creep, just walk back and forth. And as soon as one goes into deny range, you deny it and you last hit the creeps, but you don't attack anymore. And that was like the beginning of like controlling creep equilibrium, and everyone's like, holy crap dude, this is revolutionary stuff. And now this is like one of the very first things that newbie Dota 2 players will get taught. It's like, dude, why are you standing there constantly attacking creeps?
That denying creeps was never originally meant to be in the. It wasn't a function. It wasn't an actual feature of the game. It was simply because the Warcraft engine allowed you to kill your own units.
Mm-hmm.
You could even deny your teammates, even if they didn't have a damage over time on them. You could attack your teammates, and eventually they put in a trigger that whenever you attacked your teammate, it turned you into a sheep, or it attacked you, and they messed around with little functions like that until they finally found a way to disallow being able to attack your teammates.
Mm-hmm.
But they're actually keeping in that feature, which I don't know, some may have called it a bug back then, some people may have called it an exploit or abuse. But actually turning that into a feature of the game, which is now so commonly used, like you said, to control creep equilibrium and to control the lanes and to farm. It's just amazing to see how little things like this can come from a game.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And Henry D now reconnecting to the game, and appears that we will have ourselves a good game here. Let me quickly check the stream if all my settings are correct. It appears as if they are. And the drawing on the minimap will cease now as Balsam is leading the charge toward the bottom lane, followed by Calculus and the rest of his team. Smoke picked up by Henry D on that Shadow Demon, wards on Earthshaker. And it appears that our Morphling will go toward at least a Ring of Basilius and most definitely, or most likely also, a Ring of Aquila. Good luck, have fun, some manners being shown here by Balsam. And we might see them meeting up here. We might see us clash here in the early game. And who would you say has the upper hand in an early game exchange?
It's really hard to call because obviously ES adds so much to the lanes. He can block people off or block people
Disruption! Oh, Pycat. Immediate fissure as well, and that is most definitely going to be first blood. The Copenhagen Wolves' first game under their new sponsor. Pick up first blood.
The Nino showing there that you can block people out and block people in.
Absolutely. And immediately using their chance as well to use a good ward here to block off the creep camp spawn at 30 seconds. And now they're all making their way toward their lanes. They're happy. They're like, alright man, we got first blood. Let's go to our lanes and get some creep block happening. And even who actually got the first blood? It was Morphling, and he actually managed to pick up a magic wand right off the bat. Illusion Rune as well, the warding relatively standard now. Dire as well as Radiant have a bottom rune ward here, which will make him able to to deduce where the rune is spawned, because it won't be all too hard to figure that one out if you have vision of one of them, as well as the entrance of the Radiant Jungle on top of this creep blocking ward right there.
Yeah, Pusher is going to want to go into the enemy forest most likely. He's not going to have a fun time here. Simply because those two camps are warded off and there's a gank train already heading towards him.
Yeah, before the rise, I'll try to quickly go over the lanes. Aki on Pycat, so Ancient Apparition with Chaos Knight will do this dual lane on the middle lane, so Tinker will actually be farming on that bottom lane, on the short lane, has already picked up a soldering recipe. Here comes the gank train, Henry D, Shadow Demon as well as Earthshaker going up against Pyke as well as Aki. Fidger hitting two heroes, Shackle latches both of them together, really nicely done. Pyke taking a crap load of damage, Kagos even TPs in Power Shot, gets the first kill on Pyke, second kill of the game. Aki also looks to be in a bit of trouble, that's why I said first kill. We'll see if there will be a second one picked up. Sprout will be off cooldown in 3 more seconds. Aki really has to be very, very careful. Fidger, Power Shot hit as well, auto attack gets the last hit. 3-0 thus far, the score.
On the very, very threshold of Fury and of Nature's Prophet's damage there. Getting quite lucky on that last hit. The power shot over the top almost copying the required amount of damage to finish him off after the fissure, but not quite in range for that and slightly off target. But Fury finishing off the job there. Misery here. Nope. And Henry Dickinson deciding to stay in the forest.
Dude, I remember last time we talked about Chaos Knight, we were talking about the very big difference of max and minimum damage. Hover above the attack. It's sitting at minimum damage of 54 and maximum damage of 84. That's a 30 damage difference. So, in comparison to his overall minimum damage, that's a good two-thirds. Mid lane.
Oh, just getting out of range of that cold feet proc. Just.
Was it 1 or 2 second stun?
I think it's done.
Alright, level 3 picks up a second level of Chaos Bolt, and the Copenhagen Wolves 3-0 taking a strong lead here in the second game of the defense. And now the Nino on Earthshaker picked up a double damage rune, stuns off Misery, wants to make his life a living hell on this lane here. Also manages to block him out. He has to use a tango to free himself. And they are doing some roaming action, immediately using a smoke as well, so we'll see where they're going to go now. Shadow Demon leading the charge, checking off the creep camp. Actually, the creep spawned, so what is this ward all about if it doesn't block the creep camp? Fissure blocks out Misery on the right side, but Shadow Demon lagging behind a little bit too much, giving a little bit too much space for Misery to back out. And look at his skill build. He's actually going too into much of the machines at level 3, omitting the laser.
Yeah, you commented on that ward. There is a ward spot. I'm not sure if it's the bush slightly southeast of where he's actually placed it, but there is a spot in that general location that does block it off. But I think it's a slight misplacement there.
Okay, so they are doing a very strong trial lane. Misery has to be very, very careful because Terrarium is right there. Here comes a disruption, and here comes Earthshaker, bringing himself to a nice position, but the Fissure still gets him on the wrong side. But there's also TP coming from Nature's Prophet, not needed though. Cancels in time. Morphling manages to get the last round. Tinker 4-0 thus far the score. And let's quickly go over the lanes. There's a lot of pings about now. Actually, TP coming in. Oh, Windrunner went down. Nature's Prophet gets a kill on Pycat in return though. Maybe also a kill on Aki. Here comes a Sprout. Tangos his way out. Uses his last one right there, and Calculus overextending.
That's something I really, really do not like to see, is diving under a tower for that extra one hit. He must have known that he couldn't get a kill there.
Yeah, even if Aki didn't use that self, he would have still been safe. Could have maybe conserved a little bit of gold there. Yeah, just maybe they were like, dude, we're 4 kills ahead, we're pumped, man. I will do enough damage. I'll just dive. So
Misery deciding bot lane isn't good enough for him, so he's moved up to top.
yeah. He's like, push the street, you're standing in, man. Go bot, I'll farm up here. Look at these sponsor flags, this is awesome. Yeah, so we didn't really go over the laning just yet. Calculus is doing the top lane with Furion, the Nature's Prophet. We did point out the aggressive tri-lane on the bot, making sure that Morphin gets a lot of farm. Middle lane, disruption up on Pycat with a Soul Catcher and a Power Shot level 2, gives him 400 damage. So there you go, Soul Catcher. Just the skill to look out for, and Windrunner is doing the middle lane. So up to now, the Copenhagen Wolves are looking very, very good. The gold advantage is looking at above 10k at 5 minutes in. So all in all, very good. 2 second stun here on S4 on the Windrunner. He will get frozen, but for some reason Pycat turns around. Oh, he actually uses invisibility rune. Okay, understood, man. Fail award.
That's really nice ward there from the Radiant in mid lane though. It allows CK an extra huge amount of vision and range to let off his stun and put the cold feet on top of it, rather than the Windrunner being able to sort of move her way around, juke around and get into that fog that sits on top of that top mid ramp.
Yeah, S4 does have to be very, very careful. If it wasn't for that invisibility rune, he would have most certainly been dead. So, quite lucky for him there that he has that up his sleeve. Top lane, Calculus now exchanging hits with Misery a little bit. He doesn't have the laser, so he can make sure that he will win those attack exchanges. It is interesting, though, that he actually goes for the March of the Machines. I don't know if I agree with it or not. What would you say?
Well, they're stacking Ancients, so
Okay.
Beastmaster and Tinker are probably going to go over there and whack them down in a little bit. That's something I'd like to point out. Wolves have a flying career.
Haste rune! And now on who? S4 doesn't even pick it up, what the hell? Yeah, he don't need it. Killing spree up on H's Prophet now. He will now bottle up that haste rune. 6 kills now for the Copenhagen Wolves. Miracle now might get dived a little bit. Trains use as well.
Oh,
Sprout
really?
misses completely. Bollocks, what was that?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And all of the Copenhagen Wolves are on the bottom side. So tier 1 tower is going to drop as well. Very dominating play
Radiant's bottom tower.
coming over the Western Wolves here at the moment. Dominating the early game, dominating their lanes, getting kills. Pycat died thrice already. Just 1 kill on him as well as 23 last hits. The goal advantage way in the favor of the Copenhagen Wolves. We have on this ancient side 4 stacks, 3 to 4 stacks at the moment. Actually, I think it's 3. And we'll see how the gold graph changes, but it won't go at all in the favor of the Radiant, because it's just too big a goal advantage in the favor of the Dire just now.
Yeah, there's been 3 stacks, so there are 4 ancient camps there ready to farm up. And here comes Tinker with level 3 March of the Machines, and he's going to eat up all that gold.
Uses all of his mana. Second March of the Machines comes out.
Soul Ring, so
A lot of pings going out. Good warding as well. The Copenhagen Wolves are now actually obtaining a little bit of control of the enemy forests here to get some gold for themselves and deprive the enemy of their gold. And Balsam, the entire time, had his free farm on the top lane, staying on 44 last hits now at 8 minutes. So that's a very, very good rate that he's farming at. We'll see if he can sustain that actually, while Keklos actually, Nature's Prophet, goes down to Enigma, as well as Pycat and Ancient Apparition.
Radiant's top tower.
Gets caught out there in the enemy forest.
yeah, a little bit of overextension getting...
Oh man, the 2 supports from the Copenhagen Wolves actually just checking up on Tinker. Catch him on very low HP. Oh man. Yeah, if he would have followed his buddy Earthshaker, they would have definitely gotten that kill, but he's like...
couldn't. He attacked the dragons
Yeah.
and they aggroed onto him, and he's like, oh shit, I just took about 200 damage from a couple of hits, I've got to get out of here.
Yeah. Top tier 1 also going to drop, man. Balsam. Oh, it doesn't get it. It's actually the Dire, but holy crap. 2 towers down now on the Radiant side. Pushes Street moving with his Enigma. Just on sitting on level 6. Barely any farm boots, as well as a Soul Ring sitting in base. Man, now movement coming from S4 on that Windrunner as well as Shadow Demon. But Pushes Street backs out in time. Misery, 31 last hits in almost 10 minutes. The early game wasn't his at all. So now it's a question of how well will the Copenhagen Wolves be able to transition their early game advantage into mid to late game dominance to win this game. They have the heroes for it. They have very strong momentum based heroes, and their synergy is very strong as well. They always have that late game morphling. And what they need to do now is basically push those towers, deprive the enemy of map control, deprive them of space to farm, and force their game upon them. And they're doing this at the moment. Tier 1 tower in the middle lane is going to take a fall. Deny, unsuccessful from Miracle. Pycat TP's in as well. But the Copenhagen Wolves back out. They got what they wanted.
And this is CLG scrambling for kills and scrambling to try and defend their towers, but they simply can't do it. They don't have the gold, they don't have the items, they don't have the levels to try and take on the 5-man roaming gank squad that is this Dire team. Especially with the ES, who can so easily split them up and create that advantage for the Wolves to pounce on.
Yeah, in terms of items, it's also not looking all too good here for the Radiant side. Pycat is going toward his Vanguard, still quite a ways off, and that at 10 minutes for his solo basically a free farm mid lane with his Aki support. It's not looking good at all. Aki only clarity as well as 2 Ironwood branches. Mid lane, some action going on. Sorry guys, Tinker goes down. Oh man, good disruption in Earthshaker as well. He actually managed to survive, and Aki goes down in turn. So 2 heroes dead for CLG, and Earthshaker actually survived. So man, Shadow Demon again doing his work. Miracle also goes down. 3 heroes dead now.
One observer ward just set up 3 kills for them. One observer ward that sees the ramp going up to the ancients. They spotted Tinker going in. They went in on him when he was pretty low health because he was going for those ancients. And who did they find after that? They found Ancient Apparition after Fisher, and then they chased Beastmaster into his own forest. So having that vision gave them 3 kills.
So good, man. That very nice defensive disruption I just caught on Earthshaker. He came out of that with like 30 HP and just amazing. Again, Chaos actually opts to go for a brace. He realizes he's piss poor and he needs something to beef up a little bit. But even with that one bracer, he's already sitting at 1k HP at level 8, just showing the intense strength gain of that Chaos Knight. And a nice ultimate from Ancient Apparition actually picks up Earthshaker right as he enters the base. He actually felt pretty safe, I must assume. But then he gets hit and dies.
Yeah, and this is just total map control here. I mean, they've got a stranglehold on the Radiant Forest. Now they're warding even more aggressively up on that Omni... It has Omni vision. That hill there, if you put a ward up on it, it has so much vision around that forest and onto the bottom tier 2 and onto the lower ramp and in everywhere. Hyper aggressive ward, and if Furion gets a chance to TP in to someone who's trying to farm, who's low health, then he definitely will.
Misery has been using that entire time where the middle lane has been providing so much action in this game to just farm on that top lane, managing to only farm up a soul ring as well as boots of speed, sitting on top of 800 gold now, barely. So 47 last hits in 12 minutes, made up a little bit of farm we lost during those early game minutes where Copenhagen Wolves just forced their game upon them. They're just doing so well. Mana boots up on Windrun. What else do we have here? Potion is going toward a mech, relatively standard item now for Enigma nowadays. 2 sets of mana boots already up on the Dire side, carried by Windrun as well as Earthshaker. Shadow Demon actually managed to pick up Power Treads, which is a very, very luxurious item at this stage of the game for a hero of his role, where he has to carry Observer Wards, Smoke, all that stuff, and he still managed to form a Power Treads. Balsam on Morphling actually almost has his ultimate orb up 13 minutes. This would be one really fast Lincoln Sphere.
Look at the Nature's Prophet. Midas 4-staff phase boots.
Oh yeah, that's also
we're
ridiculous.
13 minutes in, 1-3. I mean, you expect the Midas to come out at 6 to 8 minutes on a good day. Then you expect the phase to never come out on a Furion unless you're on AL. We very rarely see phase boots come out. We did see it yesterday. I can't remember what team it was, and AL loved playing phase boots on all their heroes, Beastmaster and Furion. But the amount of gold they've managed to pick up with this ganking, pushing, massive pressure, it's just good Dota. Have you disappeared somewhere? It just Prophet picks up a kill on the Tinker, and I can't hear my co-caster anymore. Or the main caster. He's
oh man, I had my myself muted. I've been commenting the whole time. Very sorry. Push 3 also goes down. Thanks for reminding me, man. Disruption. Yeah, I was yawning, man. I was... dude, triple kill for Nature's Prophet. I was commenting the whole thing, dude. The whole thing.
Wait, I was wondering, should I start talking? Is he going to come back suddenly? Has someone died? What's going on?
Yeah.
Why did he disappear?
Sorry, a very nice offensive TP from Calculus, setting up that entire triple kill. He solo kills the Tinker, and then Beastmaster comes in along with the support TP from Enigma, the roar, and the damage afterwards. Not enough to take down Calculus, and then the Wolves just had their support there, man. Down goes Beastmaster, and down goes Enigma. Here comes some rockets, as well as March of the Machines, trying to keep the defense here up on the bottom lane. We're learning, dude. Here comes a glyph, a TP, and the Copenhagen Wolves back out. In the meantime, the tier 2 tower in the middle lane has been pressured by a 9 agility Morphling, Oh, 3-second ton. I think Balsam will go down. If he has to start strength morphing, he is doing it right now. Waveform as well. TP now, realizing that there's no stun to stop him, and he actually manages to TP out in time. Now Calculus though eats a 3-second stun, will go down for sure. Yeah, down he goes. Yeah, that was just strange because I worked quite a long time today, so I'm a little bit tired, and I caught myself wanting to yawn, so I muted my microphone and yawn, and then there came the action. I was just like starting to commentate.
Well, I'm sitting there and it's just absolutely silent. Why is there no talking?
Haste through now on Shadow Demon. We'll see what he's trying to do. Chicken flying in, bring him a crap load of support items. Wand, smoke, regen rune on the bottom lane. Blink goes out as well from Furion. As soon as he lives, they will move in. Here will the disruption will come. Misery's also there. Did he spot him out? Yeah, there we go. Vision is there. Here comes the ultimate. Oh man, beautiful, beautiful move.
Yeah, and look at the rest of the CLG squad. 4 of them smoked up getting ready for something. Oh, and they did go on the Windrunner.
As 4 now gets initiated upon Fissure, tries to help him out defensively. He gets frozen though, even the A ultimate flies out. Wow, nice pullback from Pycat, managing to get ES also pulled back into the A ultimate. He will shatter most likely. One more tick, there we go. Ancient Apparition goes on a killing spree, assisted by that last hit of Chaos Knight. 3 heroes dead for the Copenhagen Wolves and 1 for CLG. CLG now need to use the little bit of momentum that they gained to reclaim map control. Their top tower is being pressured by Calculus as well. All their towers are actually damaged heavily. All of them have less than half HP left here at barely 18 minutes into the game. So the Copenhagen Wolves have been doing very, very well, and I think the sponsors must be very proud of such aggressive and dominating play for such a new team on the horizon, going up against veterans of the game in CLG. Now another Sprout up on Pycat. He turns on immediately though, blinks up to him, hits him, stuns them. Perfect disruption from Shadow Demon here though, and a good ultimate from ES, and Pycat standing down to try and fight. Now Cactus here getting focused down, but they manage to take out Chaos Knight before he's able to get any kill. Shadow Demon, man, you're so good. Wow, that was a perfect disruption, man. Just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I was just about to comment on how CLG are managing to claw their way back into this. Enigma's, yeah, just picked up his mech now, finishing that core item, but everyone is so lean. You look at the Beastmaster with Tranquil Boots, Magic Stick, Stout Shield, and he's just managed to pick up 1500 gold. He was sitting on about 700 a while ago, but he's been farming like a madman, really. Misery there, what does he have? He doesn't even have his travels yet. Soaring Bottle, really, really struggling. And we see a Roche attempt here. Well, more than an attempt. They're going to take this before anything can happen, really. A ult does land, but are they going to get too scared? Nah, they're going to stay out this.
This Tinker pick is not working out for them at all, man. It's not working out at all.
The idea was there. They could have pulled it off, but the awareness of this Wolves side just too great. The warding, the aggressiveness, pushing really, really hard into the enemy.
Yeah.
Into the enemy sort of side of the map.
You gotta really give it up to the supports, mainly Earthshaker as well as Shadow Demon, for roaming, for dual roaming so very efficiently, placing those wards, counter warding, smoking up, getting kills where they are needed, and after they get the kill, utilizing the free space on the map to place down wards in very strategic positions to set up future kills in those areas as well. Now initiation on Balsam on the Morphling, but he already has a friggin' Lincoln's up, so no chance for you guys to do anything there. CLG now has 3 heroes up on their top lane. The top tier 1 tower is still sitting at above half HP. Now the support TPs from the Copenhagen Wolves are coming in. They don't want to give this tower away for free. And sure enough, CLG appears to be backing out. Man, Balsam actually TPs into 4 heroes at the same time. Might have overextended a little bit there. Eats the roar immediately. Has a strength morph. Now, actually, Earthshaker goes down. Shackle on 2 heroes. Miracle pushes through. Very nice. And a black hole on 2 heroes at the same time. Henry D almost got focused, got drawn into that. PGG hack is not actually in favor of those guys here at the moment. Calculus now gets jumped by Pycat, but he drops immediately. Just too much damage from the Copenhagen Wolves side. So 2 for 1 thus far. CLG lose 3 heroes for the price of, well, actually just gaining 1 Earthshaker.
definitely not too early or over eagerness there. Morphling with Aegis, there was no chance that he was going to die with that Linken's up as well. So he was running in there trying to bait out all the spells so his teammates could come in from the side, as they did. ES copying a huge amount of damage in the early start instance of that fight from the A ult, etc. But still, turning that fight around, well, they didn't even turn it around. CLG wanted to win that fight. They thought they could. They thought they could take out the Morphling quickly, possibly, and then push that top tier 1. But Wolves showing their level, gold, item, everything advantage, just a huge advantage, and they are showing how to use that.
These guys are just so impressive. Under the clan tag, the tough bananas, they've been scrimming non-stop, they've been practicing so hard, and it paid off, man. They took on the top teams of the Dota 2 scene, at least in Europe. They haven't yet played against Chinese teams, but then again, barely any European team has played against Chinese teams, but they've taken them on and showed that they can compete against them. Got the attention of the Copenhagen Wolves, who immediately sponsored them once they got the chance, and here they are, beating, at the moment at least, one of the top tier European teams in CLG. And here we go, initiation, Roar goes out on Calculus, an immediate disruption by Henry D on that Shadow Demon. He lets his own life for it, but not before Enigma himself goes down. The team fight ensues though, the ultimate procs on Enigma, so Enigma as well as Beastmaster dead. Here comes Tinker Misery, initiates on S4, he doesn't go down just yet. Now he drops to Aki's mega kill streak for him now. 2 for 2 thus far the exchange, and Balsam still has that Aegis, and yeah, that's the end of that exchange, 2 for 2.
Yeah, that's not the end because top lane is pushing.
Oh, TP from Misery. Disrupted by Morphling's adaptive strap, sorry about that, and as you said, yeah, what were you saying, top lane got pushed?
Everywhere's pushing. Top and bot are naturally pushing for the Wolves side. And it was a correct decision to rotate mid to try and force a fight, possibly try and take this tier 2. But the fight sort of washes. No team won it outright, so they're going to hang around a little bit, send people back to regen up, then come back for another crack.
Yeah, well, the Copenhagen Wolves did get, well, the Dire did get 3 kills, whereas the Radiant only got 2. So at least that's a slight advantage for the Dire now. And a sheep signal up on Prophet. Let's quickly do an item check. Holy crap. Yasha.
22 minutes in, man.
That is really, really ridiculous. I don't think there's any way for CLG to come back. They're a top team, but this is just too much of a disadvantage. The Dire have played tremendously. Ultimate up on Pusher Street now on the Enigma. Slowed so much that Purge is too strong. Here comes Pycat though. Has ultimate on cooldown though. Henry D does drop nonetheless. Enigma also drops. And Henry D actually got the experience from that as well. So 1 for 1 the exchange thus far. Misery will also drop. He's totally out of position. Shackle on Miracle as well as Pycat together. Miracle, will he drop? Uses his wand. Managed to survive there, but Balsam is commencing on the chase. Waveform is ready. Here he goes. Gets the kill. Meanwhile up here, S4 trying to take on Piker, trying to survive. Here comes Calculus. Really nicely done. The Copenhagen Wolves just doing so well. 4 staff out. Pikat's so tank, but eating too much damage. Too many heroes out there. Too much attack coming in. Windrunner gets the kill, and Morphing also got a kill. Team wipe, man. CLG are all dead.
Radiant's middle tower has
Holy shit, dude.
Would not surprise me to see GG being called in
Yeah.
about 2 minutes
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, absolutely not, dude. Wow.
middle tower is under attack.
You guys, if you don't know Dota 2 or are you not following the competitive scene, the Copenhagen Wolves are a
There it
brand
is.
new team, and there goes the GG. Copenhagen Wolves win their first game in style at 23 minutes against CLG. What better start could they be asking for?
Barracks are under attack.
¿Qué pasa?
What?
Time rule.
Oh yeah, I guess they. All right, guys. In the defense, it is in such a way that the timing plays a very big role. If you, for example, have 3 wins and 1 loss, and you would qualify for the next stage, but another team also has 3 wins and 1 loss, then it will come down to who wins the game the fastest, or all the games basically. So if you won 3 games in 20 minutes and the other guys won 3 games in 40 minutes each, then the guys that won faster obviously win. That's the tie-breaking rule in the defense, and yeah. Well,
Aki there. A very strong Chen player. Known for his Chen and Enchantress play. Now he has to micro 3 other heroes.
I understand. I understand now. I'm Chen now. godlike streak now, Morphling. But now, once the Copenhagen Wolves realize that this is about the time rule, their top priority. Here goes the ping as well from S4, realizing, guys, stop fucking fountain farming. Let's do this. Finish the game now. Those precious seconds have to be utilized.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Just having some fun here.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower.
And here goes the Ancient. They also still have a glyph. Dude, you know what would be really hilarious? If it will come down to a time ranking and CLG doesn't advance because they are behind by like 4 seconds.
Radiant's ancient is under
Well, that's why I'm not sure. Well, I don't agree with what Holy Master just said, that he'll add a few minutes.
Yeah,
That-
yeah.
That doesn't sound right.
I don't think he will. Oh well. Alright guys, that was it for CLG against the Copenhagen Wolves. Durka, do you know if there's any other games coming up? Actually, we'll talk about that after. I will have to put out the outro video as well. So here we go. The Copenhagen Wolves take a very convincingly in the early game and don't let that advantage go. They got further ahead and used that goal as well as item advantage to finish the game here at 25 minutes and 20 seconds with their first game under their new sponsor, taking out a powerhouse of the European scene in CLG. And, well, again, thank you guys very much for tuning in. I'm Epi. Check out epicommentary.com. Thank you too, Durka, for doing this with me.
Yeah, no problem. Always fun to watch some good games.
Totally. Check him out at Durka Dota. You can find him on Twitter, Twitch, as well as Facebook. And watch out for his YouTube channel as well, because he will do some tutorials as well. And this was the defense, sponsored by BenQ as well as Razer, hosted by joindota. Thanks, Toby. Thanks, Holy Master. Thanks to the whole joindota crew for letting us do this. And thank you guys for tuning in and watching. I really appreciate it.